It's a pleasure to serve under your chairmanship. And can I thank the Right Honourable Member for Chingford and Woodford for bringing this very important debate forward. And he's made some excellent points, particularly on local decision-making, which is something that I'm also concerned about. I represent a number of villages in Mearn Valley which are unsuitable for high-speed traffic. Some are on the A32, which is one of the worst in the country for people being killed and injured. But everywhere in our villages, the problems of speeding traffic are a menace to the people living, working and going to school there. I was an MP in Portsmouth when we recently had become one of the first to introduce 20-mile-an-hour zones across the city. The evidence very quickly showed a reduction in the number of incidents because the average speed was brought down, and the change made drivers think more carefully about their behaviour. Everywhere that has done the same has seen a similar reduction in casualty figures. So I'm pleased that Hampshire County Council is now looking at communities and parish councils to ask for 20-mile-an-hour zones. This is something that I've been calling for a long time, and residents have been asking for help, particularly along the A32, which goes through many of my villages. I hope the Council will allow communities to move forward with this when it takes its decision in January this next year. Hampshire County Council is considering a report mostly based on conditions in Winchester, as my right honourable friend for Chingford and Woodford said, and other largely built-up areas. But in our rural Mearn Valley communities, things are very different. We have narrow roads passing right outside people's front doors, and in many places there are narrow, even no pavements, and that includes on the A32. Residents feel vulnerable because of the speed of traffic. Many of them noticed the high return to high-speed traffic after COVID. If anything, they saw even more of it as people returned to the countryside. As my right honourable friend mentioned, we have to recognise too that the average modern car is much bigger and heavier than in the past. Pedestrians are feeling the squeeze, and so are cyclists, horse riders and even other motorists who might not feel so confident as the drivers barrelling along a village at above 40 miles an hour in a 30-mile limit. Yes, of course.
I'm sure she's aware. Would she agree with me that we have to do something about the fact that, for example, in her constituency, in a rural constituency, 60% of all road fatalities were on rural roads?
Yes, and that's exactly why I'm so concerned, particularly about the A32, because people have to walk along the road. There's no pavement, and cars are going very fast through the villages. So you're absolutely right. Sorry, the honourable gentleman is absolutely right. My constituents are delighted that we've recently installed average speed cameras on stretches of the A32 and the A272, which have been abused by speeding drivers for far too long. The cameras will save lives of drivers and improve the lives of residents in the surrounding villages, and they've already commented to me about what a difference it makes. Cutting speed actually does save lives. And so I welcome the support of the Hampshire Police and Crime Commissioner, Donna Jones, who backed the calls, which I and my right honourable friend, the member for East Hampshire, have been making for her to fund the cameras. I will continue to support my constituents across Mearn Valley who want safer roads and safer lives for their families. So I hope the Hampshire County Council will let us have the choice of having 20-mile-an-hour zones in those areas where residents want them. I also hope that ministers will look at what the government can do to empower people to take control of the roads in the communities, including through the use of acoustic cameras and proper enforceable noise limits on motor vehicles. This has been a blight on many communities, and I hope that the pilot schemes will soon show that they work, and we can roll them out, especially across the country, but especially in the Mearn Valley.